Good afternoon. I'd like to call the April 16th, 2026 meeting of the Board of Supervisors to order, please. At this time, I'd like to call for roll call.
Board Member Hill,
Present.
Vice Chairman Patterson,
Present.
Chairman Atkins.
Present.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Our first item, gentlemen, is the adoption of the agenda. So if we could we adopt the agenda for tonight, please?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
And that is your motion, Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
And your vote, Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
Mr. Hill?
Aye.
My vote is aye also. Our next agenda item is the public hearing. And tonight our purpose is to hold a public hearing on the FY27 budget. We've had meetings and presentations and Q&A. The budget document has been made available online. Tonight's public hearing has been duly advertised. The sign-up sheet is located in the back if you have not seen it. Sheriff is back there. Anyone that did not have a chance to sign up and would like to speak will have an opportunity once all the names have been called. No action will be taken by the board tonight. Board action on the budget is scheduled for Tuesday, April 28th. The meeting will start at 6. And at this time, Madam Clerk.
At this time, we'll have our public hearing. Those who have signed up to speak during the public hearing will have 3 minutes. Please approach the podium when called, state your name, and any relevant facts or materials. Written comments and documents may be submitted to the clerk of the board. For the record, no speaking out of turn or from your seat will be allowed to preserve decorum. Respectful language is required. Board members will not engage in dialogue during public comments, but may refer issues to the staff. Our first resident is Lloyd Carter.
All right. My name is Lloyd Carter. I'm just curious because this thing disturbs me. When I sat there and I looked, and we saw back in February, you still have issues with the government and the county, you know, about taxes and with the Commissioner of Revenue Office and stuff like that. And I don't know how accurate this can be and how legit this can be when you haven't taken care of your problems from the last 5 years, in fact, not only just last year. But this bothers me how you even planned this. Thank you.
Next, we have Brandy Moreno.
Brandy Moreno. Good evening. So I'm not just here as a resident, but as someone that cares about this county. I think in the last 3 years that I've lived here, I've kind of proven that with the continual fights that I have against certain things I don't believe are right for this county. We can't talk about our future without acknowledging our past. You know, this county is built on history. That's been mentioned several times. And for too long, this county suffered from poor financial decisions that have left us with limited resources, difficult trade-offs, and a growing burden. And that burden is ultimately going to fall on us, the citizens. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. These are choices. These choices impact things like our schools, our services, and our ability to invest in our community. And yet, despite this history, we're still not seeing the level of transparency and change that we, the residents, deserve. See, transparency isn't optional in local government, it's essential. It builds trust, it invites collaboration, and it ensures this little thing called accountability. Right now, many residents feel like they're on the outside looking in. Think of it as you guys in a snow globe, and we're just watching it snow. The budget has been presented without clarity. Well, without enough clarity. Decisions are made without public engagement, or enough public engagement, or at least the caring of the public engagement. And decisions appear to be made with questions continuing to go unanswered. That has to change. And at the same time, we have to take a hard look at how tax dollars are being spent. No office in this county, no department should be exempt from scrutiny, and that includes the county administrator's office. You see, leadership sets an example when it comes to fiscal responsibility, and if we are asking the departments in the county to really tighten in their expenses, that has to start at the top. Astronomical amounts of money being spent at the top and then limiting money in other sections of the county that are important to the overall residential satisfaction, safety, and security are paramount. Cost cutting doesn't mean cutting corners. It means being smarter, more efficient, and more open to solutions that benefit everyone. One of the most overlooked solutions in front of us is our own community. There are residents willing to volunteer time, skill, and experience to help this county thrive. Whether that's assisting with community programs, supporting events, or contributing professional skills, volunteers play a meaningful role in reducing costs while strengthening civil engagement. But right now, we don't have that opportunity in this county. It's discouraged, and it really makes me wonder why. Why? What are you hiding? That doesn't make sense. So if we're serious about saving money and building a stronger community, we need to welcome volunteers and not turn them away. Empower residents to continue being cost effective. That means getting us involved, allowing us to be there, and allowing us to see what's going on. Quit hiding it.
Jared Klein.
Howdy. Whoop. Kind of an odd agenda, having public comment prior to y'all's discussion, but we digress. Spoke with the tax assessor last week, and what I'm finding interesting is that average tax assessment of people's houses in this county has gone up between 30 to 40%, and the plan is to keep the current rate. Well, that's essentially a 30 to 40% tax increase. I mean, that's historical, especially when housing prices in the county, I mean, you can just Google this, it barely went up by 1 or 2%. So I'm not sure his mathematics. We did meet. He seemed pretty reasonable. There's, if you Google search, however, his firm, it does say that his license expired a year and a half ago. It's kind of concerning. But anyways, so as I guess my ask is the plan really to keep the 69 cents per $100 assessed value moving forward? And if that's the case, you're essentially giving everyone in this county a 30 to 40% tax increase on their real property value. With that being said, I've done a little research on y'all's proposed budget for FY27, and I thought it'd be interesting to compare apples to apples. You know, other counties in Virginia that have similar populations, and what is their operating general fund and school and other, you know, total revenues and whatnot. And I thought I would just share a couple numbers with everyone. So I picked a couple counties who are similar in geographic location, have similar population numbers, and then looked at their overall budget. This is the total FY27 proposal that they have currently on their websites and so forth. I believe ours with capital expenditures is 48 million. So if you take out that 8 million, it's 40 million, right? With that being said, Craig County has a population of 4,778, and they operate on an $18.5 million operating fund. Surrey County, our neighbors to the south, population of 6,615. Just for record, by the way, Charles City County, based off my Google search, has a very similar population, within 100 people. However, their operating proposal is 32.58 million, which is roughly 7.5 million less than our proposed for FY27. King and Queen County has a population of 6,750. They operate even less than Surrey County, 28.9 million. Rappahannock County, 7,435, 32 million. I did find a county on the population list that basically had a $40 million budget. It was Madison County, and they have a population of 14,250, which is over double our county population. Thank you for the extra time. I appreciate it. I hope y'all, when planning this budget, think about these numbers, think about our effective tax rate, and move forward. Thank you.
Steve Furman.
Good evening. Haven't spoken to you for a while. My main concern is somewhat different than has been previously expressed, but I do have a couple actual dollar concerns. And that is with the, as I'm looking through your sheet here, I can't see whether wastewater and water utility fees have increased or not. In past years, and it looks like these 1575 still is, are way below the average and below the norm in our surrounding counties. And I've been preaching for 20 years to look at that. I hope you continue to. Of course, I'm concerned about the schools spending about $28,000 per student, one of the highest in the state. And my concern about that is that there are areas of the school budget, particularly transportation, non-teaching academic licensed people who lend support but aren't in classrooms. And those expenditures are far, far above the average for other small schools in Virginia. I gave you detailed information on that last year. VDA, or the Department of Education, hasn't put out new data, so that my comments from last year still stand. My main concern is that it doesn't appear in this budget that there is has been consideration to contingency planning if the slaughter continues in the Middle East. Right now, it appears that the best we can hope for is some serious stagflation. Clearly, we know data is inflation is accelerating, their layoffs are accelerating, and we're in for a bad time, which will be only made much worse by dramatic reduction in liquid fuels available for the world economy, which also means fertilizers, sulfur, plastic precursors, and so on. So if this war continues for more than a few months, we are going to be facing a very serious worldwide economic slowdown. And I hope you are thinking about contingency plans for this budget if, in fact, anything, well, I'm not sure you've considered stagflation. This looks like a budget that hopes everything stays the same. But I'd urge you, strongly urge you, to begin talking about contingency planning for some significant economic changes and expenditures. I also don't see that you've put increasing gasoline costs into your budget, and clearly all liquid fuel costs are going to be dramatically increasing. And I'd also take this opportunity to urge you again to possibly establish a citizens budget advisory committee that maybe can provide a broader view of issues that we really need to be very concerned about. Thank you.
Tracy Floyd.
Good evening. I don't really have any prepared remarks tonight, except to say that I am a little alarmed at the size of our budget. It seems like it almost doubled, or maybe it did more than double. I can't really remember, but it's a little alarming to me. I wanted to echo a little bit what Brandy Morano had said, and that is that I really feel like the county is missing out on opportunities to have citizens, maybe like even myself, who might have some expertise that they could use, maybe in departments that are lacking staff right now, to help out. I actually tried to volunteer with the county and was told that it was not possible. So I think that maybe this is a resource that the county is overlooking. I mean, I wouldn't do anything inappropriate. I would just want to help. And I've offered to help. And at the open house that our administrator organized, I spoke to community development and was actually asked by Sherry Adams if I would be willing to help as an environmental scientist. And I said, yes, I would. And she took my number, and I ran into her this week and told her, I was shocked to find her all alone there in her office, no other employees in the whole department. She's answering phones and doing plan review and doing everything else, filing or not filing because she doesn't have time. And I said, I can help. And I was told that it's not possible. So maybe the board or Mr. Administrator, you could maybe revisit that and maybe tap into some of the resources that live right here in this county who are willing to give their time to you, even in a menial way. I would file for her just so that she could have time to do more important things. But I am a little shocked at the budget. I also, and I know you won't answer, but at one of the budget meetings, I thought I remembered you guys saying, excuse me, that if the assessment went up, that the rate would be equalized, because I think the code requires that it only goes up 1% a year or something like that. But it seems like the tax rate is going to stay the same. But people's assessments, I haven't gotten whether or not mine's being revised or not, but one of my parcels went up over 74%. So that's a lot. And we're on fixed income, so, eek. But anyway, wanted to throw that out there just as a final note, and I appreciate your time, and have a good evening. And please consider the volunteer idea.
And that's the end of the list of individuals that have signed up. Do we have any others that would like to speak at this time? Please approach the podium.
Good evening. Charles Harwood, 16200 The Glebe Lane. I haven't said a whole lot in the past year. Been kind of standing back and watching what's going on. I want to see what was going to happen with the budget. Amongst a lot of other things, it looks like the county was trying to clear up and fix. I don't think that this budget takes almost any of the recommendations into consideration from Davenport. I do not see where it was reflective of all of their recommendations. I don't see where it was reflective of all about our spending in the county or any of those things that we've done. We have less than 7,000 people in this county. That has not changed since like 1968. Within a couple hundred people, I think. Yet we have probably 200% more government than we used to have. I grew up in Goochland County, coming down here every single weekend. I knew the lady that worked that was the commissioner of revenue for our county. She had one person that helped her. Half the time, she did the entire job by herself. My understanding is that our tax bills all go out or all outsourced out to somebody else before they come here. I don't know why all that's not done in-house. It seems to me like there are a lot of places where we should be saving money. It seems like to me that almost every single department should have cut something. And I believe that our IT department should have been cut in half. I mentioned that last year. I spoke with a very good friend of mine who ran an IT department for a large law firm, and I said to him, how many lawyers do you have per 100 people? They have 3 people for their entire IT department for 250 people. And their IT department is major. They have a lot of things that they have to deal with, and every single thing they have to deal with has to be secure. I don't understand what we're doing in Charles City County. I think we really need to revisit this budget. Thank you.
Any other speakers at this time? Okay, Mr. Chair.
thank you. This will close our public hearing, and we will be adjourned. Thank you.